Well, this is going to be the most hack video we'll ever produce. So may I point out, very glad our tax dollars are used to create a current affairs show that is essentially an audio catalogue for dildos. How's that for the government f***ing you up the arse, eh? The reason we have to address this though is, well might Isaac Butterfield's dick stink, but your dick shrink. Clear enough? Your dick is shrinking, you dumb motherfucker! Got peace in the middle. Ah! Beard's controlling my mind! That's not me! I don't want peace in the Middle East! I want term oil. Humanity's sperm count is dropping. It's time to move to our plan B, using giant rays to make us 1,000 meters tall and jam sperm whales up our cocks for later use. Oh, that's not gonna hurt. Look at that! Look at it! 50% drop in 40 years. If this trend continues, we'll probably be better off, frankly. I think Nigeria will manage just fine if they drop down to having a lean 50 kids each. But what we can't manage, especially the Japanese, is smaller cocks. You heard me, your penis is shrinking. How scared would you be if you heard that and you were Seth Meyers? It's good for me though, due to this camera angle. You've probably never seen me from the waist down, but here's my photo. Yeah, nice. Miscarriages are on the rise? That's terrible news for Oshkosh Bagosh. Any kids that are actually born are becoming more and more hermaphrodite. Yeah! Pretty soon every school's gonna be a co-ed, eh? And your peenies and vaginas are shriveling because of plastic. Well, endocrine disrupting chemicals or EDCs if you want to get more specific, but I don't, because when I look at these I think, yeah, puffy. How scary is this though? EDCs have been nicknamed everywhere chemicals. Everywhere, meaning those plastic apples in Harvey Norman that sometimes have price tags on them and even more confusingly sometimes don't. Eat that. That's basically the same as a real apple now. Almost everything you eat, breathe and drink is now pre-glad wrapped, meaning you're turning into an infertile little midget. That's right, it'll only be a matter of time before you can't go on any rides at all. Thanks to plastic, we'll never be able to jam sperm whales up our urethra. Every other government appears to be somewhat concerned that we're becoming a hermaphroditic species that can't f*** ourselves, except of course the Shire and Middle Earth. Yay, one of us. And the Shire here. Aloha, Hobbit Unity ticket. I want to make this very clear. The Liberals don't care that you're going infertile. I guess because it reduces the amount of abortions by default. Look at what this government's plans are to stop real-life children of men. 100 words. Yeah, that ought to cover it. Australians create around 67 million tonnes of waste a year. Oh, really? I thought it was 68. The Morrison government is banning the export of plastic, paper, tyres and glass waste. Oh, that's good. I can't really shit on them for that. I'm kind of peeved off that I have to give the Liberals credit, frankly. Is what I'd be saying if I was capable of giving them any praise at all. Partisan power. Australia's infrastructure isn't ready to deal with that amount of waste. The government's plan is to melt this waste down into a fuel source called refuse-derived fuel, or RDF. It is the worst possible way you could dispose of plastic. And how good's this? The petrochemical industry likes to call it engineered or alternative fuel. I wonder what they call a turtle that chokes on a bag. Biological disposal unit. It's like with nuclear, coal and gas. There's a massive lobby group dedicated to pretending that burning plastic doesn't create more than a ton, 1.4 tons of CO2, while also just making the plastic tinier. It's like in Scratch-tasia. It doesn't actually break it down, it just moves it from the ocean to the air. That's it. They pretend it's carbon neutral, but I pretend on a daily basis that I know the difference between Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg, but I'm living a lie. Every time I think of Mark, I think of Elysium, and every time I think of Matt, I think of Boogie Nights. We're investing $1 billion. Whoa, that's so much money! How do they pick these figures? They're never accurate. I bet it's a hermit crab race with numbers painted on their shells. Pick this game up in Fiji, mate. Yeah, 10,000! Our plan will increase recycling rates, tackle plastic litter, improve battery recycling, and halve food waste by 2030. Right, So in other words, if policy was a cafe, Scott Morrison's ordered the usual. As usual, the Liberals' plan is just a very watered down version of Labor's plan, where instead of outright banning single-use plastics and microbeads, that by the way, if Shorten won the last election, that would have been effective as of last year. The Liberals promised to maybe sort of do worse than nothing 10 years from now, but again, no promises. Cunts. At least under Howard, the Liberals' contempt for the environment was honourable. Anything more hectic than Clean Up Australia Day. I resolved the most appropriate action would be to not pay attention to the various green groups in my office, as the coal groups were much less passionate and therefore much more polite. Post-Howard Liberals? So much slimier. Oh, yeah. No, mate, we care. Look at how much we care. We're going to spend $1 billion of your money convincing you how much we care. $1 billion. As usual, not spent on actually addressing the issue, no, spent on pretending to address the issue, putting some googly eyes on a milk carton to travel around with Healthy Harold and teach kids about how they should keep their baby chino lids for when they're older so they can double up as tanning salon goggles later. Wow, and this is horrific. 400 billion are being invested in plastics over the next 5 years. Jesus, talk about a drop in the garbage island. The vast majority of this umbrella designed to protect us from this tsunami of lost tech deck pee-wee trick boarders is actually just a little more of your money going into this industry that's making it impossible for you to conceive. Look who's more pro-recycling than Sandra Sully. Oh, it's the petrochemical companies. As don't you see, the problem lies with you. It's not that they keep lighting more and more fires at much bigger sizes, it's that you're not putting it out quickly enough with your shoe. Just like with the coal industry, they'll fund messages like you need to turn your lights off, you need to eat less meat, don't forget to recycle the dildos you bought after hearing them advertised on Hack. The reason the oceans will have more plastic in them than fish by 2050, it's not that these top 100 companies that account for 90% of the single-use plastic bags that are created are redoubling their efforts under the Liberals, which again would have been banned from being produced in Australia by Labor last year. It's that you didn't put your f***ing can in the right bin. You disposing of your ink cartridges, which by the way, top effort, you deserve a little sticker. Here you go. It's of Pink and Sting merged into a single person. Stink. It's a scratch and sniff. You should be doing that, and good for you for doing so. But I think it was Abraham Lincoln that once said the government is there to do what the people cannot by themselves. And the reason I think that is because I couldn't be bothered to look up who said it. Anyway, this is why you have to convince at least one person from now until the election to vote Labor, because the Liberals are not a government. They are the exact opposite of a government. They are a band of decorum-obsessed bandits raiding your money to convince you that massive structural problems are your fault. You tell everyone you know, those same dickheads that when you point out, okay, look at their economic stats, no, they're the same. Okay, what about their treatment of public services? Same. The fact that we're heading for a mass special extinction under one party while we're not under the other, what don't you understand about shame? Add people onto the list as well. We're going extinct. The Liberals still don't give a f***. They are well aware that we are losing our ability to reproduce, and even then, they'll still side with the industries that are doing it. Sign up to our Patreon to support getting these literal pricks out of office. Like and subscribe, and remember to recycle!
Please share and comment below. Comment!